Oh, okay. So it looks like we are actually jumping straight into C1 finals. Thought it was going to be senior men's first, but we're actually doing C1 right away. Yota run 1 came out at a 0 points. So let me get all these things here for you guys. That was Stephen Patsch for his first run, coming in at a 90 points. So these two are fighting for the podium spots. And now we go to Yota for ride 2 of 3. Yoda being the underdog in this by a decent amount is really wanting to find a way to pull that upset on Stephan, who has looked like the pretty dominant paddler throughout the preliminaries, but there's a nice spin. We know he's capable of it. You just look at how shiny and bright that boat is. Kind of looks like the sun, so you'd think it wants to fly up in the air, but we'll see what he can do here. He's trying to set himself up for that loop. Looking for that tricky plug spot without flushing. Here he might have just found. Let's see if he goes for it. Goes for the air cartwheel to the right, but unfortunately gets a flush on that. So we'll have to see what that comes up to. But I'd say anywhere from a 10 to 40 point ride. As we now get ready for Stephan Patsch. Yoda's second ride coming in at 40 on the upper level of what I expected, but still great. Stephan Patsch now still in the lead with his 90 points on his second ride. Goes for an absolutely incredible loop. Lands it, almost loses control, but manages to bring it around. He's going straight into the back loop, trying to slam the bow back into the water. Unfortunately, gets a flush, but that loop is going to bank him points. Maybe another 90-point ride here for Stephan. Again, this is actually a pretty big deal. Because C1, there are only 3 spots in the country. Well, guess what? 2 people tried out east 2 weeks ago, and now 2 people are trying out west. So you're not only fighting for a national title at that gold spot, but also for a potential spot on the national team as that wildcard athlete. So it really brings up the tension. As now we go back to Yoda for his final of 3 rides. Crazy how fast finals goes when there's only a few people. Looking to set himself up. Stephan's second run, 130 points. That should put him solidly into first place. An unfortunate flush off the stern from Yoto. I apologize if your name is Yota and I accidentally typed Yoto, but I'm seeing 2 different spellings, so I'll see which one ends up being right. But now, pretty much a guaranteed first place here from Stephan Patsch. He's going in for his victory lap as lands a massive loop. This isn't just a victory lap. This is also a victory lap because he may have just scored himself a ticket to Spain for the World Championships next year. Stephan Patsch, everybody, C1 national champion and potential Team Canada representative. Second run, 90 points, and that's it. Stephan, highest scoring ride of 130 points, followed by Yoto, which actually, 40 points is important. Like I mentioned, that wildcard slot for the national team means that it's either you or the second person. It's either Yoto or the person who came in second in Valleyfield 2 weeks ago, who end up taking that wildcard spot. So it's a big deal. There's a lot at stake here. Very dramatic ending to the C1. But now we're going to move into the men's finals, senior men's finals. So we're apparently just waiting on one athlete to get this started. But as you saw, we got in order, reverse order, so reverse seed from qualification. That's why you do qualifications. Jay Gilman, Mikkel St. Jean Duncan, Shea Oliver, U23, Eric Bissel, Scott Feindel, Daryl Weeb, and Mathis Maire, U23. So as we wait for this to get started, that looks like a go-ahead. So Jay Gilman dropping into the feature, looking for those cartwheels. Lots of shaking going on that camera. Maybe cartwheel the other direction. Plugging in for that loop. I think now he's really wishing that that warm-up ride he had was his finals ride, because this is not quite as energetic and fast as I saw earlier, but that is the risk with a warm-up. As we wait for his score to come through, our next paddler in line should be Mikkel. No, okay, so that was Mikkel. Okay, so they're doing things in a different order. That makes things complicated for me. So that was Mikkel. So 225. Two and 5 is Jay. So this is Jay Gilman looking for a huge air loop, getting off a little bit too far to the left side. Hopefully everything else is okay on the start list. Not sure why Mikkel went first. But Mikkel's first ride coming in at an 80 points. So I'm going to just have another check online here just to see what happened. Jay Gilman should have been first to start. And that was Shea. So I have no idea what's going on. Shea with a run of 113. I'm going to double check. Beautiful McNasty going for the loop. That's bib number 13. 31, so that might be Mika. No, okay, that's confusing to me. Bib number 3, so going for a loop. So this is Eric Bissel. Eric looking for the McNasty. So it seems like there might have been some names scratched off the list, so maybe people not competing, hence why the confusion in the start order. So Shea's first run was 113.33. Now we have Jay dropping in for his first ride. Eric's first run coming in at a 266.66. Jay looking for some nice cartwheels, trying to link it up with a split, but unfortunately the stern catches the rock at the bottom and just gets pushed out. So that's going to be it for his first ride. So Eric's first run, 266.66. Now next up, Scott Feindel. Well, he's going to be looking to put down a huge first ride, try to solidify that spot. Him, Daryl, and Mathis are fighting neck and neck for that podium spot at Nationals. Beautiful loop to start it off. Looking to play it safe there. Plug in, slowly looking for that spacey to the right. Jay's first run coming in at 15 points. There's a spacey attempt to the left, but unfortunate flush from Scott on his first ride. Daryl, who's going to be up next, definitely closely watching Scott to see what type of competition he's going to put up, but he's also got to look below him in the heat at Mathis, who had an individually stunning ride. Although not significantly higher in combination, Mathis' individual ride was second highest of the day, I believe. So definitely something Scott and Daryl and everyone in this heat are going to be aiming for and trying to shoot for. Mathis, who's going to be definitely looking for that national title. He's got a few of them under his belt, so looking for another, this time in the senior category. Oh, Mathis, maybe Daryl scratched as well. Mathis dropping in for his first run, almost flushes, but is going to retain. Looking for that huge clean loop. Looking for that spacey, also huge. Scott's first run, 176.66. Mathis looking to set up for that McNasty, catching a bit of an awkward edge. He's going to look for it again, and he throws it and manages to retain. And this time he pulls what I'm going to call now Scott Special, which is McNasty to the left and jump off of the wave. So still a fantastic ride from Mathis, but definitely not what he was looking for. Now as we wait for Mathis' first ride score to come in. Mathis' score coming in at 410 points. So that currently puts him in the first place position. Let's have a quick look at that as we go back to the top of the heat here with Mikkel. Or Jay, actually. That's Jay, not Mikkel. Jay looking to just clean it up, keep it nice and steady on there. All right, 2 of 3. Looking for that Space Godzilla, but not quite attaining the feature. Jay's second run coming in at 10 points. Best ride so far is the 15 from his first ride. Now we have, I'm pretty sure this is Mikkel, but again, I might be wrong because the order seems a little confusing now. Looking for the front and right. Cartwheel and a split wheel, going for the loop. Trying to make it back up, but not quite attaining. You can see those shadows creeping up on the left side. The day is waxing, and everyone is starting to get tired, and we still got a few more finals to run after this. Mikkel's second run coming in at a 73.6. He's going to be sticking to his first ride score of 80. Currently putting him in the 5th place position. Next up, Shea. Another one of our U23s. For his second ride. It scored some pretty massive rides in the preliminaries. Looking for a nice big loop, trying to clean it up, but you can tell the day is getting tiring for everybody as they continue to struggle to make this feature work for them. Looking for a Space Godzilla to the right. Space Godzilla to the left. Really bringing that bow around over the stern. Now looking for that McNasty, but just not holding it down quite enough. Jumps a little early and flings himself off the wave. It's going to be it for Shea's second ride. Shea looking to best his first ride score of 113.33. As we wait for Shea's ride, our next in line is Eric Bissel. Shea besting his ride with a 190. Now we have Eric dropping in, spinning around, looking for the McNasty, bringing it around nice and snappy. Plugging it in for that huge air loop, trying to show the paddle to the judges, showing that it is 100% clean. Now, massive Space Godzilla to the right. That was absolutely crazy. He's really looking to grab one of those podium spots, looking for the Space Godzilla the other direction. Somebody's lit a fire under this guy, and he's just reaching for it. He's got probably a few more seconds left here as he goes for the split wheel to cartwheel potentially. He's got time for maybe one more trick. I don't know what this is looking for. Split wheel linked to Spacey, trying to get those link bonuses added on, and that's going to be time for Eric Bissel. Uses up every single second of his ride, which we haven't seen that much today. Eric's first ride score was a 266.66, currently putting him in that second place position behind Mathis Maire, who has a 410. So let's see what this places it at. I have a suspicion that it is a pretty high scoring ride. Let me say a 570 something. We'll have to wait and see. I might be completely off the mark, but we'll see. Next in line, Scott Feindel. Third in seed going into the final behind Daryl and Mathis, but Daryl is not competing in the final. Hey, I'm pretty decent. Eric comes in with a 526.66, and now Scott, he's in the feature immediately for a huge loop. He always goes in. Looks like he's going to throw a wing over, but then just cancels it, plugs for that loop, and throws massive. Now there's the Space Godzilla to the right. Looking for the Space Godzilla to the left, nice and cleanly bringing it around. Mathis watching his competition quietly from the eddy, and there's a beautiful split wheel into a cartwheel, maybe trying to link it into a McNasty, but canceling out of that at the last minute. There's some more cartwheels, trying to get those ends near vertical, past that 45 degrees. Looking for the McNasty, and can he retain it? But in Scott fashion, takes an exit flip off the left shoulder. Eric Bissel's last second ride currently puts him cleanly in the first place position, ahead of both Mathis and Scott, but neither of them, or Mathis hasn't had his second ride yet, and Scott, we're still waiting on the score. See what he has for us. I know Mathis has been watching, and he saw that ride from... He definitely saw that ride from Eric earlier, and was like, there's no way I'm letting him beat me. That's what every single person in this Eddies does. They're watching. That's what's awesome about the final, and especially being in Mathis' position. Being that top seed lets you see everybody go ahead of you and try to capitalize at the last minute. If you can make that work, if you can get above the stress of that situation, you can really capitalize. And here's Mathis going for it, trying to make this one count, going for a huge Space Godzilla, landing it into a cartwheel. Luckily, does manage to keep himself into the feature. Decides to cancel out on that loop. Instead, he's going to spin it around. He doesn't have a whole ton of time left to figure something out. Goes for the Space Godzilla the same direction again. It looks like he wants to go for that blast. He really wants to get that stern upstream for the McNasty, but he doesn't. The boat or the wave just doesn't want to cooperate with him. Everybody's tired. It's been a long day. He's still trying to, but catches a bit of water. There it is. Huge, clean McNasty to the left. He wants to go the other direction now, but that's going to be time for Mathis' second ride. And I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to take that first place position, but there was a lot of time spent where he really should have been able to make that count. And I'm pretty sure he will on his third and final ride later. Now we're still waiting on the scores from Scott, and now we're also waiting on Mathis. Jay hanging out in the eddy. Doesn't have his bib on anymore, so maybe he's called it for the day. Still waiting on those last two rides. Scores to come in. And now we're going to go to Jay, who is maybe doing his third ride. I'm not sure. He's no longer wearing a bib, but he's going to go for a huge loop. Almost retain the feature. Oh, I'm getting some messages coming through as we watch Jay really try to power up the feature. Scott's second ride coming in at a 276.60. And Mathis' second ride coming in at a 436.60. I think we just saw Jay's ride happen right there, but if we're going to go by what's happening right now, currently you have Eric in the first place position. So I need to switch this over to Mikkel. Going for the left cartwheel. They're on their final rides now, so this is the time that counts. Mikkel sitting in fifth place. He needs to currently beat a 190 to break into that fourth place position, and a 276 to break into the podium. So he's the last person available to potentially, or second last person to potentially disrupt that. But we'll have to see what happens after that ride with a bit of an awkward flush. As we wait for the score, our next paddler in line are U23, one of two in this heat, Shea Oliver. Shea enthusiastically jumping into the feature. Looking, oh, I thought maybe he was going to go for an entry move, but no, he's going to opt to ride the shoulder. Plug in for a beautiful loop, but unfortunately catches a bit of a stern. Can he bounce back in? He does. Trying to go maybe for the spacey. He does, but unfortunate flush off of a missed spacey. Ends up flipping and pulling himself out of the feature. That's going to be it for Shea Oliver. And Shea, who had a current best ride of 190 points, we'll have to see, but I think it needed more than that to best that at the moment. And depending on the result from Mikkel's ride as well, this might have guaranteed the top three positions. Now we might just have to find out who's going to be those top, in what order those are going to be. Right away, Eric Bissel, current leader, dropping into the feature. He really wants to beat that last ride. He wants to solidify himself, make Mathis work for it, looking for that McNasty. A little bit awkward, still manages to pull it around. We'll see what the judges have to say about that as he works his way again, looking for it again, but everyone is looking tired out here on the water, plugging in for a huge loop. He's still got some time, but he's going to have to chain up some pretty big moves here. Looking for that McNasty again, still crooked, isn't able to bring it around. Both Mikkel's and Shea's last rides come in at 90 points. And that's going to be it for Eric. Jay's third ride, 60 points. So Jay's third ride, 60. 90 for both Mikkel and Shea. And we're going to have to wait for Eric, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to be enough to top his current ride score of 526.66. And currently, up next, Scott Feindel. Yes, Eric comes in with a 190, so he's going to stick to that 526.66 current leader in the top three. 2 left to go. Scott Feindel, currently in third position, needs to put down a performance here if he wants to achieve silver or better here. He has the opportunity, an unfortunate flush on his first loop attempt, and that's going to be nil for his third and final ride. Obviously, the judges haven't said anything, but I'm pretty confident in that being 0, unfortunately. So Scott's going to stick with his best of 276.66. Now Mathis. Mathis is last to go. Mathis is currently sitting in second place position behind Eric. He needs to best 526.66, and he's going for the spacey. Gets flushed off, manages to recover. He's going to have to muscle his way back in. Can he make it up? Boat's super light. He's super light. He does make it in. Plenty of time left to go. He's going to have to throw some big... Oh my gosh. That was a huge, clean loop if I've ever seen one. This is the potential gold medal ride for Mathis. Eric watching from the sideline as a massive, huge McNasty comes in from Mathis. Mathis wants this. He's going to go for the McNasty the other direction, and he flushes off, jumping off of the wave to the left side. This is going to be tight. I have actually no idea if that bests that score, because the tricks that he did pull off were huge and clean. But he maybe had 3 of them, and it really depends if they decide to score the initial Space Godzilla. So, as we wait for this final score to come in, can Mathis take that top position? Here's our current at the moment. $190 for Scott. My bad on that one. We're still waiting on that score for Mathis's third ride. Score to beat Eric Bissel, a 526.66 on his second ride. Let's see if he can do it. Everyone waiting patiently. Eric, currently sitting in that gold medal slot. Mathis, waiting. Does he have the national title? Or does it go to Eric? Oh, I see typing. This next minute or so is when it will be decided. And it's going to be followed up by more absolutely fantastic finals. We still have the cadet and junior finals to go. I don't know if they're running them all together. I will find out pretty soon. But we still need to conclude this one. And it couldn't be more dramatic. while we wait, let's fill these out. We have a dramatic drum roll for first place position. Mathis with a 560 points. Takes the first place position right from underneath Eric and bumps him down in 2 seconds. So that is the senior men's finals, ended in the most dramatic way we could possibly imagine. In first place, your national champion, senior champion, Mathis Maire with a 560. In second place, the silver medal goes to Eric Bissel with a 526.66. In third place, Scott Feindel with a 276.6. Fourth place, Shea Oliver, 190. Fifth, Mikkel Saint-Jean Duncan, 90 points. And wrapping up the top 6 here, Jay Gilman with 60 points on his last ride. So that is the men's finals, plus some U23. And I believe now, I'll have to find out, but I think we're going to be going to a really short break, and we're going to be back with either the cadets or junior men's finals, or both combined. So stick around. It's only going to get more exciting, honestly, so don't miss it.